Welcome back to A Course in Miracles workbook for students. We are on lesson 39. My holiness is my salvation. 1. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? Like the text for which this workbook was written, the ideas used for the exercises are very simple, very clear, and totally unambiguous. We are not concerned with intellectual feats nor logical toys. We are dealing only in the very obvious, which has been overlooked in the clouds of complexity in which you think you think.
Number 2, if guilt is hell, what is its opposite? This is not difficult, surely. The hesitation you may feel in answering is not due to the ambiguity of the question. But do you believe that guilt is hell? If you did, you would see at once how direct and simple the text is, and you would not need a workbook at all. No one needs practice to gain what is already his.
We have already said that your holiness is the salvation of the world. What about your own salvation? You cannot give what you do not have. A savior must be saved. How else can he teach salvation? Today's exercises will apply to you, recognizing that your salvation is crucial to the salvation of the world. As you apply the exercise to your world, the whole world stands to benefit.
4. Your holiness is the answer to every question that was ever asked, is being asked now, or will be asked in the future. Your holiness means the end of guilt, and therefore the end of hell. Your holiness is this, pardon me, your holiness is the salvation of the world and your own. How could you, to whom your holiness belongs, be excluded from it? God does not know unholiness. Can it be he does not know his Son?
Number 5. A full 5 minutes are urged for the 4 longer practice periods for today, and longer and more frequent practice sessions are encouraged. If you want to exceed the minimum requirements, more rather than longer sessions are recommended, although both are suggested.
Begin the practice periods as usual by repeating today's idea to yourself. Then, with closed eyes, search out your unloving thoughts in whatever form they appear: uneasiness, depression, anger, fear, worry, attack, insecurity, and so on. Whatever form they take, they are unloving and therefore fearful. So it is from them that you need to be saved.
Specific situations, events, or personalities you associate with unloving thoughts of any kind are suitable subjects for today's exercises. It is imperative for your salvation that you see them differently, and it is your blessing on them that will save you and give you vision.
Number 8. Slowly, without conscious selection and without undue emphasis on any one in particular, search your mind for every thought that stands between you and your salvation. Apply the idea for today of them in this way. Apply the idea for today to each of them in this way. My unloving thoughts about are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation.
You may find these practice periods easier if you intersperse them with several short periods during which you merely repeat today's idea to yourself slowly a few times. You may also find it helpful to include a few short intervals in which you just relax and do not seem to be thinking of anything. Sustained concentration is very difficult at first. It will become much easier as your mind becomes more disciplined and less distractible.
10. Meanwhile, you should feel free to introduce variety into the exercise periods in whatever form appeals to you. Do not, however, change the idea itself as you vary the method of applying it. However you elect to use it, the idea should be stated so it is so that its meaning is the fact that your holiness is your salvation. End each practice period by repeating the idea. End each practice period by repeating the idea in its original form once more and adding, if guilt is hell, what is its opposite?
Finally, in the shorter applications, which should be made some 3 or 4 times an hour and more if possible, you may ask yourself this question. Repeat today's idea and preferably both. If temptations arise, a particularly helpful form of the idea is, my holiness is my salvation from this.
Wow.
That's quite the lesson.
Wow.
Quite the lesson.
It's very interesting that the word guilt is the opposite, like is hell, and it's the opposite of salvation.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fear, but guilt. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, guilt.
And what a relief. We are not concerned with intellectual feats nor logical toys. So that takes away all of our, well, I'm intellectual. My holiness is my salvation. That's pretty clear. But do you believe that guilt is hell? If you did, you would see at once how direct and simple the text is, and you would not need the workbook at all.
Right.
My
So
holiness is my salvation.
a picture in my mind came up of eating at the dinner table when I was a child with all the family members. And my dad would always say, you better eat all your food because there are starving children in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard of that.
Yeah,
too.
I got that. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's an idea he brought to the table to
Yeah.
to control us, to get us to eat.
Mm-hmm.
He used guilt. He used guilt as a control mechanism. And I didn't know that at the time. I just thought, yeah, better do that because, I don't want to be better than anyone else. Anyway, sure enough, I'm trying to, help somebody in Africa these days, and I've stopped since, but it's the guilt.
Mm-hmm.
I recognized it. It was
Yeah.
the guilt. I was putting myself in hell.
Right.
Because apparently in the story, this guy's in hell because he's living in dire straits.
Mm.
But I don't know. It's just a story, right? I don't know for sure. How would I know if it's real even? Like what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
my mind, my guilty mind brought him forward to test me about my guilt.
Wow.
And I don't
Isn't
feel
this
guilty anymore.
funny that the three of us all heard that in our childhoods in very different cities? So where did that actually originate?
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up in North Vancouver. Kelly, you might have grown up in Kelowna.
Yeah, pretty much in the valley
It's
here.
the media. It's the media. It happened on a television advertisement, probably.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pictures of starving children in Africa and, donate or, something.
Yeah. Because I don't think
Yeah.
our parents would have been subject to that same sentence.
No.
Right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It was
But your
it
parents,
was
like
used
mine,
to
were
control.
Yeah.
And so
and
now
Kelly,
our
your parents were
holiness,
older like mine, so they probably were like, yeah, we grew up where there wasn't anything because the wars or,
Yeah.
whatever, and times were really hard, and you better eat everything you've got because you're
Yeah.
lucky.
It was just out of gratitude.
plus my parents were very poor.
Mm.
And so they come out of poverty.
Mm.
And they were very appreciative of everything that they had. So it was a comparison mechanism as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
The mind compares it, and it always uses guilt to control its situation. So
And
now we
probably
can,
a father's ego as well to make sure that, I've been able to provide, you are lucky enough to have food on your plate. And
yes,
so that also elevates him even in the poorness that you felt as a family.
yeah, he wanted to feel grateful
Yes. Yeah.
Prideful.
Yeah.
prideful, yeah,
Right.
pride,
Yeah.
yeah, pride and guilt and comparison.
We're
It's
just
all
being
it's all
we're just
ego.
we're just being
Yeah,
primed for
it's all
now.
ego.
Yeah. And so we can remove ourselves from hell now.
Yeah.
Yay! Yay!
With one little sentence.
Right? My holiness is my salvation.
Mhm. Oh my gosh, it is my salvation. It's just, we don't have to get emotion, like we don't need our emotions to lead us around. You know,
Right?
Yeah.
we can have our salvation be our guiding light in every
That's right.
decision we make.
Yeah.
As you apply
Our
the
holiness.
exercises to your world, the whole world stands to benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some would think, oh my gosh, that's so much pressure, but how exciting that we can just
Yeah.
be in a loving state
Mm-hmm.
and know who we are, and the whole world stands to benefit.
Yes.
We are powerful.
Yeah, if you've done the work
Love is powerful.
and
Yeah.
have the self-love, then it comes out that way.
Yeah.
I remember reading this last time when I was in a completely different emotional state, and I just felt a lot of pressure,
Oh,
right? Because I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And a lot
Yeah.
can change in a period of time.
Yeah.
right.
Like
Because it would feel like an instruction, something to do.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it was like a
And
pressure. Yeah, I better do this or else.
yeah.
But when you're in guilt, that's what guilt sees.
mm-hmm.
Guilt
Yes.
sees
Right?
like, oh, I better do this or else.
Yeah.
Like a punishment kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep. But also in that same paragraph, it says a savior must be saved. You cannot give what you do not have. How else can you teach salvation? So in order for us to be that, we must be that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And do you believe that guilt is hell? Well, yeah, guilt is hell.
Yeah, because it keeps you spinning.
Yeah, looping around all the
Yep.
drama and ego
It's fearful too, because you're afraid of losing something if you don't obey.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
don't obey the threat, or you don't obey the instruction, or you don't obey the threat. Yeah, the threat. It feels like a threat sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody threatens you with, you better do this, or I'm going to withdraw my support from you. I'm going to withdraw my love from you. I'm not going to be your friend anymore, or whatever. They don't say it. It's
Yeah.
just, it's a silent threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Do this or else.
Yeah.
Right?
But
And
it's
we don't
very
know what the or
sweet.
else is.
The guilt uses sweetness, like very sweet. Like it looks like love,
Mm.
Mhm.
but there's fear behind it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then to the first question, or the first part, then my holiness must be the opposite of guilt.
Where's that?
Well, the first question starts, if guilt is hell, what is its opposite? And then the very last thing is, my holiness is the salvation from this. So I'm kind of just putting two together. So
Oh yeah.
what is the opposite? So my holiness must be the opposite of the guilt that is hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my holiness would be the opposite.
Yeah.
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 So we've
It's
got a
like,
couple of practice periods. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking about the tree of life versus the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Mm.
If like guilt would be the tree of knowledge of good and evil, like duality.
Right.
And what is its opposite? Well, remove the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and there stands the tree of life. So the tree of life is its opposite, and it's always just what it is. Like
Yeah.
it's always been there, and there is no tree of knowledge. It was just imagined.
Yeah.
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 And so our tree of life is our salvation, which is our holiness. Yeah.
It's funny you say that. I've had a fabric tree of life, and I meant to put it downstairs. And when I realized I might have to move at some point, I didn't put it up. But on Saturday, I actually hung it up. And you can see it in when you look at pictures of one picture of Trina, you can see the tree of life. It's a green fabric with the tree of life in behind it. And I'm like,
Yay.
Funny. I'm getting goosebumps because I
No, that's your
obviously
that's your salvation. You
that's
are
my
your
salvation. And
your holiness.
I only refer to it as a tree of life too, not the tree of knowledge. So it's just the
Oh yeah,
right.
the tree of knowledge of good and evil is, what we've been eating, the guilt, the fear,
Yeah,
all the stuff.
yeah.
You
The
just
Adam
keep
and
eating
Eve.
that apple over and over and over.
You know what?
It's like,
That's the forbidden fruit right there.
yeah, believing
Yeah.
in guilt, believing in
Yes, the fear.
evil,
Yeah,
believing in actually forms of goodness as well, because
yeah,
it's actually trying to cover up the fear.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point, right?
Do not eat.
Yeah, the eating is the believing. When you
Yes.
believe something, you're eating something
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not true.
yeah. You're taking it inside. Yeah.
Hmm.
Right. And as we go through this, I find my unloving thoughts are less and less. So I think 5 minutes is going to be harder and harder because I don't have that many unloving thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
agree.
yeah, and just ask, like I ask to be shown,
Yeah.
because sometimes they pass and you don't see them, or they
Mm-hmm.
go
Yeah.
underground and you can't see them. And
Right.
they're just
Yeah.
very slimy and slippery like a snake. Like
Yeah.
I want to see. I
So
want to
much
see what I'm
metaphor.
eating here. I want to see what I'm eating. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
bring it
Yeah,
on.
right.
Yeah.
Because it's
Oh,
all
such a good
unconscious.
point.
It's very unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Very unconscious. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's funny when Nina and I saw each other on Friday night, I had been saying the last lesson a lot. There is nothing because we didn't meet on Friday. You slept in, and anyway, it doesn't matter what we
Oh,
Yeah.
did.
okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
There is nothing my holiness cannot do. And
Mm-hmm.
so, even though I had said it 100 times during the day, I'm like, Nina, there is, we put it together. There is nothing my holiness cannot do.
Yeah. For a minute there, we were like, what was that? What was it again?
My holiness
Yeah.
is not what I think. No, it's funny.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
very helpful yesterday. Yeah. It was very helpful over the weekend.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Lesson 38.
yeah, yeah. Kelly, I came on at 5:30, and I just did other things until about I think 10 after 6, and I thought, well, I guess Nina's not coming, so I went back to bed, which is luxurious, right?
Nice. Yeah, for sure.
And when I get up an hour later, Nina's like, "Oh, I just logged on at what was it, 6:15 or 6:20 or something,
Yeah.
whatever it was." We missed each other
Mm-hmm.
by just a few minutes, so it was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got full 5 minute full 5 minutes are urged for the 4 longer practice periods today. And that's good. I will do that today. And then my holiness is my salvation is an easy one, hopefully to remember
Yeah.
all day.
Have
Yeah. It's only
T-shirts
5
printed
words.
Yeah. My holiness is my salvation.
from
And
this.
then over in number 8, my
Wait.
unloving thoughts about blank are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I think that just reminds you of whatever unloving thoughts about whatever
Yeah.
is to remind us that that's the lie. That's the
Right.
yes.
sneaky lie that's
Yes.
coming in.
It's a
And my
sneaky.
holiness is my salvation because that's a statement of fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have to apply it to all the liberals.
To all the liberals,
Oh yeah, like
They're keeping us in hell.
yeah.
No, they're awesome people.
Yeah, they're just not even people.
Mm.
is that an unloving thought though, Nina?
All it is an unloving thought personified.
Mm.
Right.
And we don't
Yeah.
like unloving thoughts, so we attack them.
Right.
But that's not the way to get rid of hell, is by
Right.
attacking hell. You can't
Mhm.
attack hell and
Right.
hope to escape it.
Mm.
Right.
You have to see it as not real.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Attack
You
is
have
hell,
to-
actually. Whenever you attack anything, you're attacking your salvation. You're
Mm-hmm.
attacking you're actually binding yourself to hell. And that's what they love. They love it.
Yeah.
The ego loves,
You're
attracting.
anchoring into the illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is so difficult to actually see that. And then when you see it, you're like, oh, damn, like I thought I was helping. I was helping everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You're not actually helping anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. And yet it wasn't seen before. That's how tricky the ego is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can really compartmentalize.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It will become much easier as your mind becomes much more becomes more disciplined and less distractible.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you don't
Yes.
want anything else but your salvation, when you don't want anything else,
Mm-hmm.
it will become easier and
Yeah.
you won't be distracted because you're not going to want what distracts you. You're going to go, ooh, yuck. That's
Yeah.
that's attack, that's judgment, that's fear, that's guilt. No,
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
I'm leaving hell, baby. Bye-bye.
See ya.
No judgment, just I'm not going there.
The city of destruction. That's really what it is. That's hell. And we're
Yeah.
leaving it now. And we're on our journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a nice relief, right? To know that
Yeah.
it's that simple. It's
Yeah.
not simple though, right? Because those
Mhm.
tricky thoughts are always slippery, sliding,
Mhm.
snake-like in.
Yeah.
So,
And we're not actually responsible for them. We just need to notice them.
Mm-hmm.
right.
We're not
That grace again, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's that sneaky thought sliming in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. And
That's right.
there's nothing my holiness cannot do. So
That's right.
we can
Right?
we can we can truly
Well, I'm really excited for lunch on Thursday, so that'll be fun.
Me too. I'm really looking forward to
Yay.
this.
Yeah, be good.
Mhm. Yes. So beautiful.
Well, I think I'll end the recording here.
Mm-hmm.